Synced in. Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome to Sketchcraft Live, the podcast for art, games, and comic book junkies. I'm Rob Duenas, graphic artist Esquire. And if you're joining in for the very first time, you should know that we typically rant about art, movie, and geek-related smooth stuff when my music doesn't go on repeat and play over and over again. Chosen by either myself or you, the audience. Joining me tonight is Brandon Lead Heavy James, technically for the first of what? The second season?
The revamp season. Revamp.
It's still working this out. I forgot to turn repeat song off on my fucking.
Good start. Good start.
We're doing it live,
Solid.
folks. You know, because I'm too lazy. I don't got no time to mix this shit up anymore. Like, so if you weren't aware, we did the podcast called Sketchcraft on iTunes. Where I did it for about 4 years, from about 2011 to the beginning of 2015. And then I spent the last year sort of taking a break and figuring out how to kind of redo it live through the YouTube. And then I'll take it back into in iTunes when we talk about artsy stuff. But for tonight, I wanted to kick it off and talk about what everyone on the internet's kind of bitching about or loving or grumbling
Internet is on fire.
Everyone's on fire. It's Superman v Batman. Y'all know, y'all have to know by now the controversy that is the current trailer for Superman Batman. I'm gonna go ahead and link this up right here and turn this off. So, Brandon, really quickly, why don't you explain what's been going on for the past couple days?
Okay, so basically, the new trailer came out for Batman vs Superman, and everyone flipped their shit. No one seems happy. Everyone's angry about the way characters look, giving away too much of the plot in the trailer, just screaming, crying, ranting, hatefulness, and it's just a lot. It's overwhelming how much people are just in such dismay about a trailer. They went from the first trailer just like pretty happy to this one just
No,
like
no, 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 no. The teaser trailer, people were not happy.
the
There was an IMAX teaser trailer like back in January or March. I can't remember which month it was. That I went. It was supposed to debut in IMAX, and then it leaked on the internet with a shaky cam. Remember?
oh yeah, okay.
Right. And the internet was like, "That's a horrible movie. You know, it looks like crap." I'm like, "It's a shaky cam. What do you mean it looks like crap? I mean, come on, guys. You know, like."
Right.
And so then they had the IMAX screening, which you could get a free ticket to Batman v Superman when it comes out, which I went to. And when I was in line at the IMAX, or that wasn't IMAX, the movie trailer debut, uh, people in line were like, "Oh, I hate the trailer." I'm like, "Why are you here?" That's when I realized Superman and Batman fans, and I'm in it, are we're a different breed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
dare I
Yes.
say, almost alien in nature. I was like, if you seen the trailer and you hate the trailer, why are you coming all the way down here to watch the trailer in a movie? Why are you standing in line for like an hour or two? Well, you know, I gotta be
If
here.
if you build it, they will hate it.
Right. So I made a short list of things we could talk about. Because I mean, look, if people want to know, I want to preface this. Oh, I got something. Yeah. So my dog, you know, God love her. She loves to say hello. So I just want to preface this before we get started, right? Really quickly. Movie trailers do not a good or bad movie make. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Correct.
The Phantom Menace has proven
Uh,
that a fantastic trailer cannot lead to a great film. The only thing a movie
Masters of the Universe. That trailer was awesome, and that movie was dog shit.
that's going a ways back. You know why that? You're gonna detour me, Brandon.
Sorry,
Let me
sorry.
explain to you
First
why
one.
that was great. I have it answered because the opening shot of that Castle Grayskull promised a lot of cool space fantasy we never got. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Anyhow, where was I going with that? So the only thing a trailer's supposed to do is either make make you want to see the movie or inadvertently make you not want to see the movie. That's about it. You know, you see a trailer, you either want to see the movie or you feel like I don't want to see the movie. Case in point, I'm going to give you an example, right? The Phantom Menace. When you see the trailer, what do you want to do?
Go see it.
You want to see the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you saw the trailer to Green Lantern, what did you do?
Mm,
Oh, you did not want to see the movie,
yeah.
right? That being said, when you saw the trailer for the new Fantastic Four film, you actually,
I kind of was like, okay, maybe. I mean,
right?
I was a little interested. I mean, just the look of it. I was like, all right, this
Okay.
might not be bad.
Trailer for Iron Man 3 made
Uh,
you wanted to see it. Stop,
yeah.
forget what you remembered. The trailer.
Okay. Probably, probably. I was probably
Super
interested.
Patriots in it. She takes the helmet, kisses it, tosses it out. I go get it. You wanted to see the
Yeah,
movie,
yeah, you're right. Now that
right?
you say that scene, yeah, I
Right.
was like, that's cool.
Trailer for Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I don't can't remember that far back.
Trailer for Catwoman.
Oh Jesus. I
Okay, so this is what movie trailers do. Okay, and so I just wanted to preface that. So let's just before we get into all these specifics, let's cut the chase and really quickly. Did this trailer make you want to see the movie or not want to see it?
yes,
You
I
wanted
wanted
to
to
see
see
it,
it. Mm-hmm.
right? I would say it didn't make me want to see it, but it didn't make me not want to see it. Catch my drift?
Mm-hmm.
I believe the trailer was cut in a different manner entirely. But that being said, the trailer is sort of this way. It's level for me in terms of a pure marketing standpoint. We'll get into that. But let's get right down to the list of things. First, I want to go down. The trailer reveals too much, or does it? So I'm going to use a really good example. The argument right now is that we've already seen all the movie. Okay, that's the argument.
Mm-hmm.
And if I do this really quickly, let's see if I can switch to desk cam, face, tiny face. Oh, wait, no, no, Cintiq. All right, pretty cool. So this is the trailer right here. I'm going to turn the music off so I don't get a DMCA. And spoilers if you haven't seen this, folks. If you haven't seen this, then man, I don't even know why you're watching this. Let's just scroll right down over to the big problem, right? This stuff right here. Big reveal that all of this is too much, and I've just ruined the movie, right? I want to remind you all of another film that has recently come out that apparently people have just plumb fucking forgot, supposedly ruined the film for them, and that's a movie called Creed. You remember about 3 or 4 months ago, a trailer came out for Creed. It's got to be less than 3 months, maybe even 2 months ago. That everyone was like, "That's the whole movie," you know?
Right.
Ah, they've ruined it. You remember that, Brandon?
Uh-huh.
Has anybody said that in the last week that they,
No.
they saw Creed, but
Now
it
he's
was
getting
ruined by?
offers for Black Panther, and I mean, people loving it. That's all they talk about.
Has anybody mentioned how the trailer supposedly ruined it for them?
Not at all.
They forgot, right?
They forgot.
Yeah, they
How quick
forgot. Yeah. You know
the
why?
internet
Because they
memory.
saw a good movie.
Yeah.
They forget. So now you could say, Rob, that's not quite the same as this, but I'm just gonna say I don't think it's that different because that movie trailer came out. God, I gotta be October or September. My time's a little fuzzy, folks, because I fucking work crazy hours, you know.
You live
So
life.
time range for Rob. But that being said, I didn't see one person walk out that theater go, I saw this in the trailer. Like
I
popcorn.
saw that coming.
Popcorn everywhere. I'm out of here. I don't want to see it, you know.
People walking out. This is a boxing movie? What the hell?
Something tells me that when this movie comes out, not one person's walking out the theater going, this shit's in the trailer. I'm bored.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it does. However, I think it creates the impression that you've seen too much. Now, again, that That's just strange because I don't know how to take it. On one hand, I agree with people that movie trailers generally sell the whole movie. On the other hand, we live in an age where a movie trailer can show you all of this stuff. See all this stuff over here? It can show you all this stuff, and then when you
It's
go see
not
the
enough.
movie, hold on, Brandon. When you go see the movie, all of it's cut out.
And then
remember
you're
the
like, why wasn't that scene in that movie?
remember the Fantastic Four? How much of that footage wasn't even in the film? Like most of the trailer. Clark Kent's like the whole fucking thing, Rob. Like so, I mean, I'm not saying that's the case here. Obviously, they're gonna stuff will be in the movie. I'm pretty certain of it. Um, but that being said, what are we talking about? We're talking about 2.5 hour film. It's Zack Snyder. It's probably closer to 2:25.
Yeah, about to. Yeah,
Yeah, and what are we talking about? An accumulation of 6 minutes
yeah. The trailer maybe 4 minutes of actual seeing things.
between all the trailers. About six. You know what? Let's be liberal. Let's be crazy. Let's say 10 minutes. We've seen 10 minutes of footage so far, which we know we haven't. 10 minutes out of 2 hours. Too
Yeah,
much.
it's nothing.
Nothing. So, I don't know, man. I don't know why this gets. Because when the first teaser trailer came out, it was this isn't enough. It's a courtroom movie. Batman v
Right.
Superman. Second trailer comes out, everyone was like, "Holy shit!" Uh, that ties into Man of Steel. And then the counter argument was, "Oh, they didn't really mean to do that. They changed it after the fact." I'm like, I don't even know how to talk to people that go along that. I'm like, what? That's plumb crazy, you know. And now is that this is too much. So I just feel that even if we agreed it was too much, when the day comes when we're all in the movie theater watching this thing, I don't think anyone's gonna care, you know.
Right.
Because Creed by all measure, that I went back and rewatched the trailer. It's the it's the whole movie, and no one cared. And I would say it's my first or second favorite. It's tied between that and Mad Max this year for my favorite films. Creed. So it's up there, guys and gals. It's up there. So okay, that's it for Brandon. What do you think about the trailer? Did it show too much, or
I think it showed a whole nother side of the movie, which I liked. I mean, the one that came out, the trailer came out before that. It was like Batman's a badass. We all know it. This trailer, you got Lex being the humor kind of in between the two, and I want to see how he plays off of it. Fitting those two together against each other, and then I like seeing Superman a little bit more aggressive. And I liked when he was like, "Oh, if I wanted to, I could end you." I might have said it wrong, but you get to see Superman be more aggressive in this trailer compared to the last one, where Batman was just stomping him and being more of a badass. Which I love Batman, but I think they did a good job of switching sides with it and showing Superman and Lex Luthor and that whole exchange between them. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, I I don't know if I liked it as much as the trailer that came out before it, but
yeah, the second trailer. Look, we can all agree the second trailer was edited marvelously. Like,
yeah,
I mean, well, pun not intended. DC Lee, whatever you want to say. I don't want. Guys. I don't care about Marvel versus DC. So you all know out there, I lived through the Nintendo versus Sega versus Sony war, and I bit hard onto that chicken nugget of hate, and I was
right.
like, Nintendo, fuck everyone, and I learned my lesson, like, it doesn't really matter. So, um, I hold no allegiance here. What I will say, the trailers have all done, and what these films have already done, because um, that I feel no one's really brought up is they already have that DCU right now has its own look. It doesn't look like a Marvel movie.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? Like they're just superheroes. They easily could have looked like a Marvel film, but this universe has its own look between Man of Steel and this movie. Clearly, when you look at it, you don't feel like you're watching a Captain America clone or an Avengers clone.
Yeah,
You know, and that's saying something considering most of the visual effects people, do their own stuff. I mean, on this movie, it's a little bit different because Larry Fong, the cinematographer, we love Larry Fong. Um, it's phenomenal, man. He like paints with light. It's amazing. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. I'm going to jump over here since we're talking about Lex. People say too much humor. Lex is, the Riddler. He's crazy. Now, I'll admit, this particular way that he's acting is pretty, I consider it
eccentric.
more levity, than humor. If it's kind of a tense scene, he's breaking it up. And I think ideally, right, as fans in our heads, we're all like, hey, we would want three protagonists, right? You want Superman, Batman, and I guess Lex Luthor, wherein you could sort of root for each side, and each one's serious. To which I would say the argument then would be the movie's too serious, like,
Mm-hmm.
because
Right.
that's what we've been hearing now from the last two trailers. The movie's too serious. So they show humor. For all we know, this is it. Like this could be
That might, yeah,
all the
that might be
humor.
his only humor lines. I mean, imagine the trailer if Batman's like, "Oh, it's just the Gotham in me," and Superman's like, standing there looking all buff and shit, and Lex comes up and he's like, "What are you two talking about?" And he was like, "Serious?" You'd be like, "What the fuck?" You'd be like, well, "All right." So everybody's just gonna stand there and stare at each other. It broke. It took two massive men just ready to go at it, and you can't tell. You're like, "Oh, do they know who each other are?" You know, it's that weird, they're right there, and then Lex just comes in, and he's a mad scientist. He's a genius. I mean, who's to say he's not bubbly? You know
Well,
what I
there's so
mean?
many different versions of Lex Luthor, all right? And
Right.
like this, like there's the 50s, Jimmy Olsen, crazy Smallville one.
Hmm.
There's the Birthright, which I think this is more like the
I think it's
Birthright.
like the birthright. That's the one I would go with. That scolded child. I'll show the world. I'll show you what I can do type.
Now, I'll be honest, my personal favorite Luthor of all time, and I do admit, having gotten older, Gene Hackman's portrayal is actually that's something that grows on you. As a kid, you're like, I don't care about Hackman and Otis, and I don't, As I get older, I'm like, fuck Christopher Reed. These guys. Like, I know it sounds blasphemous to say, but I could really watch Hackman beat up Ned Beatty for an hour. Now that I'm older, but for me, my favorite incarnation of Lex Luthor is one that is not often brought up, and that's from a book called It's Superman. Have you ever read that, Brandon?
No.
So It's Superman was a novel that took place in the 30s, and it's always been my dream to see Superman in the 30s. I always felt like Superman and Batman should be a period piece more than modern tales. Like, put him in the 30s, man. And he grows up during the Dust Bowls, Very Grapes of Wrath, and Luthor is an alderman for Metropolis. An alderman's sort of like mayor, in a way,
Okay.
and he's a political figure, mayor, and he's rounding up every invention he can get onto. And his new thing, he goes, the next essential thing will be robots. Like he's certain of this, and he uses these robots to create a way to rob the city. And Superman ends up traveling around America, gets a job as a stuntman in L.A. That's how he gets his Superman outfit. And it
Hmm.
ends up these robots go crazy. Obviously one of Luthor's plans did not work, and they go crazy and fuck up the city, and that's how he sort of appears. But it's told with a very grounded tone, you know,
Hmm.
much even more than Man of Steel, like very grounded, set in the 30s. And so that's my actual favorite Luthor of all time. And I'll admit it's a more serious Luthor than what we see here. That being said, we haven't seen the movie. Nobody has seen the movie. And the reason why I bring this up isn't because to say, well, you haven't seen the movie, you don't know if he's going to act this way the whole time. What I'm trying to say is there was an Entertainment Weekly article out that came out a month or two ago.
Hmm.
And I'm not good with days. That showed a
Like
picture of
4 months
him.
ago or so.
Right, it showed a picture of him bald, perfectly
Hmm.
bald. He's going to be bald, and he didn't look too happy in that
Oh, he
pic.
looked pissed as shit.
So what if that's Luther's arc? What if Luther has a character arc wherein here he's smug, he's getting what he wants, he thinks he's smarter than everyone, he's setting up the stuff, he's having fun, right?
Hmm.
and he gets cancer, and fucking they
From the
win.
kryptonite, maybe.
Well, we already seen him in the trailer with the glowing green rock.
Hmm.
And it doesn't go so well for him, and that's his arc that he becomes a serious villain. You know, and then at the end of that, if that happens, I could easily see a situation where people go, "I missed the happy Luther," much in the same way in Daredevil, the TV series, the Ben Affleck. Before it came out, everyone was like, "Oh, I don't like the black suit. I want red suit." And then you watch the series, you're like, I don't want the red suit. Why do you get rid of the red suit?
Right.
like, though you got to be careful now. We have no one has seen the film, so we don't know if it's too much humor. We don't know if it's Edward Nigma, with him overacting in every scene. We don't. Um, so I thought I actually laughed when he did this. I definitely get it's tongue in cheek. Superman the Bat. No one. I think I was listening to Kevin Smith's podcast and they made. And it's a great one. The Batman, Fat Man on Batman, and they were talking about this and basically him and is it Mark? Is his? I can never remember. Yeah, I think it was Mark. Him and his co-host were talking about how well, no one talks like that. No one talks like the Bat. The God and the Devil will do it. And I keep thinking like, well, nobody talks. I mean, does anyone mention how in the Flash no one talks like that either? Like how many times in your life would everyone keep telling you how, you got to go, Barry, you got to be stronger, you got to believe in yourself, like all the fucking time. Like no one in comic book stories really talk like this.
Yeah.
Probably the most realistic comic book movie ever made was Unbreakable.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't think anyone even talks like that. Or Super, which no one talks like that. So I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that argument. Other than you can make a knee-jerk reaction and say, "Well, this is out of place for everything we've seen so far." To that end, I would probably counter, "Well, like that means that marketing's been pretty good at selling it as a serious film, and
Right.
this might have been played to show like there's less, there's not so serious sometimes." Like,
It's good. I mean, one thing that bugs me sometimes too with the Marvel movies, and I know this isn't a Marvel movie, but I'm just using it as references. The last Avengers movie. There's so many jokes. Like every other line that they say is a quip. It's like, I mean, everything like jokes. Oh, you didn't see that coming, or language. It's like they're not even talking to each other. They're just making jokes. And when I watch this trailer for Batman vs Superman, and I see them actually talking to each other, butting heads, and it's not when Batman says a joke, it's not to be funny. It's to be like to Kent, to Superman, right to him, to no one else, not to make the audience laugh. It's like this. What he's saying is just to that person, and I like that. It's like it's serious, but when Lex comes in, I'm like, okay, they still liven it up. Because if the whole movie was just serious, 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 you wouldn't like it. There's always got to be a balance. Like you always tell me, like cooking, there always has to be a balance with art and movie making and cartoons. You always have to have that balance of humor, action, drama, to make a good meal, good movie, good piece of art.
so yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying with it.
Someone will get it.
It can't rain all the time, Brandon. Like, all right. So, do I agree with there's too much humor? No. Do I think his tone is off? Not really. I honestly don't. I don't. It doesn't. It's not like in the Green Lantern trailer where he was like, "Wow," right? Like, and you're like, "Oh no. Well, that just was not what I was expecting." From the same guy who was at Comic Con and read the thing off to the kid within the light in the darkest night, and now he's like, "Wow, Pam, I got CG suit, dude." Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't think it off. It's off. I have a feeling. My feeling is it's a character arc for Lex. That he's gonna get pretty serious by the end of the film.
Right.
Um, so next thing, Doomsday. So that was the big reveal. I can bring that back up. Why not? Let's just do it. So. Uh, All right, let's bring
You
it
gonna bring up
over.
a screenshot of him
Yeah,
or the trailer?
right here, dude. Just bring it up. So, Doomsday. So here's the thing. Looks like a cave troll and looks like abomination. The cave troll thing, I kind of get you. I kind of get you. If this is all he ever looks like in the film, then that's kind of a waste. Um, the fact that they say it looks like abomination, I find hilarious, considering that when the Hulk movie came out, everyone said looks like Doomsday. Because if you know what abomination looks like in the comics, folks, why don't I just type this in? Hulk
Looks nothing
comic
like the movie.
abomination. We can just all together on the internet come right over here and look like. I mean, that's what he's supposed to look like. Another green guy. And I imagine in movie land, they're like, wow, we can't have a green guy versus another green guy. It'll look like Hulk versus Hulk. So they went and created this version, which looks a lot like Doomsday in terms of bones coming out,
Mm-hmm.
of him and everything. You know,
Sunken in eyes.
right. So they came up with that. I don't know where that looks anything like Abomination. And then you can see they recolored him for the comics, right? To give him,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the hybrid Abomination, hibernation. So So yeah, that was a big argument. So okay, great. Looks like Abomination. Um, I don't know, guys. I really don't know. It looks like a big CG monster. You know why? Because it's a big CG monster. Man in suit ain't gonna help any of that. I got a feeling that if it's what we think it's gonna be, that he gets his arm cut off, he's gonna grow, a rock arm. Um, Maybe they kill him and then he wakes up and he grows a little bit of hair and he ages. I don't know. There could be a way through it. If he doesn't grow any hair during the movie, I can tell you it's because of the rendering process power of rendering hair. I imagine they probably if he doesn't have hair in the movie, it's a budgetary situation. If you look at the making of Brave, the Pixar movie, you see what went into getting her hair to look good. Just her hair, we're still not at a very good stage with CGI hair. Um, so that there might be a reason for that. In terms of all the bones getting created bigger and more wickeder as the movie goes along, I think that's up to say. I just feel that see, there's so many things here. Like if you look at these shots, like there's like so many shots that don't like really match up. Like where Doomsday shoots out his eyes and Batman. Like, see, it's hard to do this without playing it. Like this right here, look, he's in the Batwing, shoots the eyes, boom! I got laser vision, explosion, and then she blocked it. Oh, but wait, Batman is behind her. See, like he's out the thing. So obviously time has passed. Guys, we're seeing different versions, different times in the films,
Right. There's
re-edited,
daylight. It's nighttime.
re-edited to create an impression. You know,
Yeah.
through the magic of editing. Oh man, it's just crazy to me. So, but that's all. Okay, so those are the complaints, and I'd say on the trailer revealing too much or not enough, I would say uh, I don't think it matters, given the Creed example. So I don't agree with that overall. Too much humor, I think that's totally dependent. I think that's 50-50, you know? Doomsday's look, okay, I'll give you credit. Probably not the best incarnation of that now. Hard to say whether that'll play out. Again, doesn't affect. Have you ever been like, I don't like the way Ultron has lips. I'm not going to see the movie. I didn't care about Ultron's lips, you know? Went and still saw the film. So, I don't care. Here's something else about the way characters look in films now. After the Days of Future Past X-Men film and the Quicksilver debacle, uh, I'll never complain about how a character looks ever again. After that Quicksilver man, I'm like, well, that was like the best part of the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And we were pretty hard on that. We were clowning the Carl's Jr. commercial. We were cracking jokes on him.
I won't lie, I was totally off on that one. I'm like, well, and then they'd show the picture, and all the memes was the picture of, remember him in Scarlet Witch,
Yeah.
is the little Halloween costumes. I'm like, that's what we get, but the Marvel universe, we get these actual characters, and context is everything. So, um, yeah. What else? What was your favorite part of the trailer, Brandon?
Um.
Give me your favorite part and your least favorite part, because there's always something you didn't kind of like.
I think my favorite part was the interaction between Batman and Superman, right when Lex comes in. Um, I, th- and then my least favorite part. It's hard to hate on something you like. Uh, I would say probably the Doomsday scene, just because I didn't want to see all of it. I wanted to see maybe like with the green. He had the green outfit in the comic, so maybe more of that on him, or not the eye shooting stuff like
Oh,
that.
you're
Maybe
talking
just
about so in the comic when Doomsday first appeared, he was wrapped in a green
right. He
suit
had a wrap
and
suit,
his
red
arms were
goggles.
tied up.
His arms. He had a thing behind his back. His arms were all tied up,
And
and he
with
was just
one arm,
headbutting
he
people.
managed to like defeat half the Justice League.
Right.
Like,
So I think I would have liked to seen less of him without like a shirt and shooting the eye beams and stuff like that. Maybe just more the Frankenstein scene where he's coming to life or whatever that is, the alien lightning Frankenstein scene coming up, going on. But
well, it's heat
may
vision. I think we can
yeah,
all agree.
just maybe more of that, him strapped down and then you see him not so much jumping out of the building, shooting laser beams, all that. But I mean, I get it. I know why they used it for the trailer, and they have all the little scenes with her Wonder Woman and stuff like that. But I think too much of Doomsday in it.
I sort of feel like that reveal was to show off for the 12-year-olds. You know, like if you're a kid,
Mm-hmm.
if you're like a 13-year-old kid, and every trailer for Superman versus Batman is just them talking to one another, like as adults we're like, that's right, man, that dialogue's awesome. As a 13-year-old kid, you're probably like, that's boring. You know, like I watched Guardians of the Galaxy and they blew shit up. You know, when they're gonna fight. So to me, this was sort of like designed for the average person, right? The average movie theater goer. It's got humor. Oh, look, it's got a female in there, so mom will be happy. And then it's got this giant monster, so the kids are going to be interested. Like, I could see how the marketing department, and having worked with marketing departments, or departments, it's usually freelanced out, but having worked with marketing sections of,
People.
yeah, people, um, I could see how that was pieced together. For me, my favorite part about this whole trailer and every trailer so far is uh, Ben Affleck is going to be the greatest Batman ever.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
If anything, every trailer has done has sold me that this right here is going to be the best Batman we've ever seen on film, and that's coming
Best
from
and best Bruce Wayne.
yeah, and I mean I'm sold. You know, like, I think it's sold so well that I haven't heard one complaint.
Yeah, everyone's shitting on everything else, but no one's bringing up the fact that Ben Affleck was cast as Batman anymore. It's like they just they just skip it. Like when he says that son of a bitch brought the war to us, I felt it. I was like, yeah, he did. Yeah, fuck you, Superman. You brought it to us. You did. That's Bruce Wayne saying it, and he means it. I was like, oh man, I'm smiling right now. I'm just saying it. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, he's saying what everyone probably thinking, like the normal people. Like, we didn't have this alien fight going on before you came. Now half of the metropolis is gone. I love it. Yes, he'll be the best Batman. Best Batman. You won't no one even Christian Bale? No. They'll be like, who? What? No, Affleck, he's Batman.
You know what's missing from this pic though. Now that I look at it, the underwear. Oh no, he doesn't have red underwear. Movie's gonna suck. Notice no
He's
one's caring about the underwear.
they need to keep it close to the source, Rob.
Look, he doesn't have underwear, and he doesn't. She has, you know. I don't know. You know, the underwear trinity. I just remember how that was a big deal at Man of Steel. Was he doesn't have his underwear? Movie sucks. I don't want to go see it. Like, I go for the fucking underwear. You know, nothing else. You know, or like how there was no color in the last one. Now there's color. So, yeah. So that my favorite part is just, you know, Affleck nailed it, perfect. My least favorite part, just because I found it unnecessary, is the structure of the trailer. The overall structure of the trailer is disjointed. It doesn't have a lyrical flow to it. Um, that's why you know you people go, oh, then this happens and that happens. It you know, and that pacing is what's creating a lot of the disconnect.
But and then people are looking over the simple fact of daylight, nighttime, the scenery changes. Like they don't see all that. They just see the way it's cut. They see think that's how the film goes in that order. But like something to touch back on the trailer that came out before this, where you hear Lex's voice talking about angels don't or devils don't come from below, they come from above or whatever. Redcoats are coming. They make it seem like he's in his house talking to the board chairman lady, but then when you watch this new trailer, it looks like he's at the actual hearing talking to her like in a hallway. So I
Like in
mean,
her antechamber or something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
So anything can be edited to look like any scene goes together in a movie. You could voice over, you can change everything, but you got to look at things daylight, nighttime. It's clearly just cut to show you things that are going to happen that are cool, and not so
Speaking of which,
much.
I want to tell you about that, guys. This is a fan theory now. All right, so if you don't
Okay,
want to know anything about this, you can just cut out and come
possible
back.
spoiler alert. Possible
You
spoiler
can just cut
alert.
out to when this changes from Super V Superman to Phoenix, kind of, right? So I'm gonna just get into something that may possibly be. This is just a fan theory I heard, but it's one that I'm like, fuck. If it doesn't happen, that'd be a wasted opportunity. Is it comes down to the so-called nightmare scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
this right here. That this right here isn't a nightmare. It's not a dream. It's a vision that Diana has of what happens if these two dudes do not get along together. That those parademons that people are seeing, right? The things with the wings flying around in the nightmare, the parademons. Well, we all know the parademons from the last trailer. That those are Darkseid's parademons from Darkseid. That this is a vision of the world taken over by Darkseid. And Superman here is like a minion. So
Mm-hmm.
like if so she's there because she had like maybe her mother or one of that whatever what's the I don't I'm not, a,
I don't know, the Hera, whatever, some Athena,
yeah this looks in the
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 pot,
gan
the bowl of water,
the Harry
the
Potter
Oracle,
thing, right? The
the
pensive.
Oracle bowl.
Yeah, sure. Looks into the Oracle Bowl, sees this vision of Earth conquered by Darkseid if these two don't get along. So she
That's what
goes to
that's what it looks like. The minions with those triangle wings and those lurking
the
monkey
parody.
bodies.
So that's why it's like it seems that Superman knows Batman here, and no, 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 no. So that's the fan theory going around, and that would actually make a lot of sense. Why would she go there to get these two to get along together?
Right.
Unless
She has no reason.
she has no reason. And everyone's like, it wouldn't make any sense. And I'm like, well, that would make perfect sense. But again, it doesn't make any sense because no one in the trailer spelled it out for you. And if they did, you'd say they gave the whole thing away and fuck the trailer. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I.
I think all here's another spoiler idea from me personally. I think Aquaman doesn't show up until the end of the movie, and something goes in that falls into the sea, or something gets crushed, or maybe there's pollution from Gotham, something that happens that brings him
Pollution.
up.
I
You
don't.
know,
I don't. I don't want to turn the cat and play. I think. Here's my thing.
uh huh,
If they, the argument right now is that DC's moving too fast. That's one of the big arguments that right now that the Warner's films are moving too fast. That you slow it down, give Superman a sequel, give Batman his own movie, give Wonder Woman, do it the Marvel way, give them all their own movies, and then have them team up. To which I would then say, well, okay, I wouldn't personally disagree with it. However, if I remember when a movie called Iron Man 2 came out, the whole argument, being the third film in the Marvel saga so far, because it was Iron Man, then Hulk, and then Iron Man 2, was that this is just a prelude to Avengers and Marvel's all screwed up for giving everyone their own movie. You know, like this is taking forever. We got four more movies before we get to Avengers. And it only all worked once the Avengers came out. Once the Avengers came out and that movie worked, everyone's like, well, they're total geniuses. You know, everyone should do it this way.
yeah,
So, they're making Justice League next. So, are they moving too fast? I would say perhaps you could have had Batman v Superman in this movie, and then the next movie could be the Dawn of Justice, and then Justice League. Catch my drift? Like you
mm-hmm.
could have called it Batman, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Justice League. You know,
All
I could have seen that just to smooth it over. But honestly, I don't know, man, because at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of this too comes from TV. Like we're now getting, guys, this is relevant. This is a relevant argument. We're getting 24 episodes of Arrow, 24 episodes of Flash, 13 episodes of Daredevil, 13 episodes of Jessica Jones, 13 episodes of Luke Cage, 13 you know what I mean? 20 plus episodes of Supergirl, which I don't even watch, but okay. Gotham, I don't even watch. I don't watch those shows, you know? I don't have the fucking time, folks. Honestly,
right.
but that's like 100 hours of superhero TV, and then you're like, this movie's taking too long. Like, I'm like, it's really only 2 episodes, you know. So we live in a wondrous time, Brandon.
Oh yeah,
Like, live in a time of wonders, you know, where the movies from a storytelling aspect are almost irrelevant. Really, what we're talking about here. They just have the budgets that TV don't have, you know?
right.
So, look, at the end of the day, I come back to this. I'm going to wrap it up and we can move on to the next topic. I'm going to let you do a lot of the talking. Uh, does this trailer make you want to see the movie or not want to see the movie?
See it.
I still don't not want to see it. You know what I mean? It didn't make me go, this movie sucks. I don't want to see it.
It didn't amp me up that much more for it,
Right.
but it didn't make me go like second thoughts.
Right. So, and I'm not, and in a way, I'm almost relieved after that the movie's getting a little negativity, and I'll tell you why. If everything was on the ball, like this is perfect, as the movie got closer to release, all we would be doing as fans is wondering, oh man, it can't possibly be that good. You know, like, oh, no. Like the Force Awakens, everyone's like waiting for the shit, film to drop. Like, oh, it can't possibly be, it's too good to be true. I don't trust any of this. So I'm glad that it's getting a little bit of negativity because it just mellows everything out, sort of evens it out. I'm up for the film. We're gonna get 2.5 hours of this, and even if it were a solid 3-star film, great. It's a solid 3-star film. This is not a shit film though. That's where I completely disagree. That Man of Steel and this are shit films because at that point I'm like, anyone who makes that argument to me is beyond ridiculously spoiled. You just, I mean, you didn't have to live through the fucking quest for peace, or you've forgotten what it was like to have to look forward to that, or when the closest thing to, like, I gotta be honest, Brandon, the only comic book movie I had that was really good in between Superman 2 and Batman 1989 was RoboCop, and that wasn't even a comic book. But that was it. Like RoboCop was like that's the closest thing to a comic book movie I got, you know,
Right.
until Batman '89, at which I do find it funny, Brandon, how the biggest complaint is that Batman's got guns here and shooting bullets. I'm like, so did Burton's Batman. Burton's Batman had a million bullets. Fucking blew a dude up with dynamite. I set a man on fire.
Set him on
Like
fire.
set
Oh,
him
they
on
turned his whole car around and set him
fire.
on fire.
and
The the
laughed.
the patience of it.
So I don't know. I don't agree with all that. But these are not shit films. They may not be, the iconic template of the character that you want to see, like Superman, where it's the Brad Bird Superman, the idea in my head, right? Where it's like this noble Superman who comes in there and it's irreverent. And he's got the humor and he's hiding. It's not that. It's a bit more of the Image Comics Superman, right? I think that
Mm,
would be fair. The Jim
yeah.
Lee Image Comics version of Superman. Fair Superman to watch. Fair Superman to hang out with. I have no problem with it. Same with this. This is like the Jim Lee meets DC animated Batman. You know. So we're all gonna see the movie. Now, if Batman starts dancing, like okay, that's a problem. Like, you know, like Superman gets hit with the green kryptonite and he grows an emo haircut. He grows the Nick Cage '90s
Yes.
Superman hair and starts to like dance and like.
It'd be more hipster than that nowadays. He'd have like a man bun. He'd put his hair up in a
Oh,
little man
Yeah,
bun.
Superman gets the man bun and he grows a
Yeah.
mustache and.
He got the handlebar mustache, and he's just like, I don't want to fight, bro. Let's just chill, bro.
Bruv.
Yeah.
You
Chill, bro.
know? Look, folks. If that happens, I'll walk out the theater. I'm not gonna sit through Spider-Man
Oh,
3 again.
I'll stay there and watch it.
Ah, yeah,
I'll go.
you will. I
I'll go
mean,
down with the Titanic.
Brandon
I'll
liked
stay.
Ninja Turtles, so
I
hey.
love the Ninja Turtles, so I sit through it.
I did walk out of the Michael Bay produced TMNT movie. I did. Right when they were like, I guess they're turtles in the half shell or heroes in the half. They made that heroes in the half shell line.
Well, I'm
I
not a quitter.
I quit. I'm a quitter. Like I'm like I tapped out. Like I just yeah I can't do that anymore. So all right, Brandon, we already killed about 30 minutes on that. We got about another 15 minutes, so let's go to our next topic really quickly. Let me just switch back over here, and I'll let you bring this up. I can. Oh great, is it gonna crash on me? Did the stream? No, it did not. Okay, cool. So, Brandon, why don't you talk to me? What's up with what is the Phoenix Comic Con Fan Fest? What's going on?
All right, so basically, you got the Phoenix Comic Con that's been going on for let's say 8 years because I've been doing it for I think 7, and I think it's been going on many more than that, but I could be wrong. They decided to put together a smaller Comic Con at the Cardinals Stadium right before Christmas. This was yesterday, this past weekend, and basically it sucks. And I will say why it sucks in my opinion. Basically, that's a horrible setup. It's been a while since we've done this. That's a
Breathe,
bad
Brandon.
bad
Talk
segment.
slower. Breathe. Okay.
Let me bust that through. All right, basically, I went to the Fan Fest. I was only there
Slow
for
down. Slow down.
2 hours, and that's because I knew people there, and I stopped and talked to people. It was very small. It was very arts and crafty. It was like it was almost like Pinterest. Like if you were to go on Pinterest and just walk around, that's what you would see there. There was a lot of horrible, and when I say horrible art, I don't mean because of their style. I mean because I see people tracing over Jim Lee stuff. Uh, every other big name artist, you see the trace overs and you know it. Uh, it was all the same. It all blended together, and it was boring. There was nothing that would make me want to go back next year. I went this year because I got free passes, knowing people. Other than that, I wouldn't go. Every artist I talked to there wasn't doing good, wasn't making money. It's right before Christmas, so nobody wants to spend money on a Michelangelo candy cane or whatever people
There's
are
a
saying.
reason why Comic Cons are during the summer. You know,
Right.
because we're already getting hit up during the winter. Really. Yeah, okay, so how much per booth were they charging?
I think 200. I believe that's what one of my friends told me was 200 for a booth. And
Who was there was no actual comic book artist there, like names, it was
there
all
was
just fans?
the only ones that I saw that were big names that people might be were the people represented by Essential Sequentials, which is like Dave Johnson, cover artist for Marvel and DC, uh, Coley Hammer, I
That's
might
good
have said his
artist.
name wrong, and I think Andrew Robinson, who also is represented by Sequentials. Uh,
Unfamiliar.
yeah, he did like I think the Grayson covers. I could be wrong. He's got the kind of same style as Dave Johnson, Devil Pig on Instagram and all that. People probably know him. Did a lot of the Deadpool covers. Other than that, there was your normal Arizona names like Mike DeBalfo, Jeff Pena. Uh, there was no real big name stars, and they didn't promote it whatsoever. I didn't even know it was this weekend until my friend who was working asked me, "Hey, do you want some passes?" And I was like, "Sure, why not? I'll kill a couple hours on a Saturday." They didn't promote it. Even the people there were saying that it wasn't promoted until a week before, and there was no big names, nobody to pull it in. I think Kevin Sorbo was, and I might be saying his name wrong. He was one of the actors there to sign stuff, but it was empty. There was so much room, nobody bumping into me. It was dead 2 hours before it was over. Other artists were leaving their tables. Other artists were packing up. The guys that I was talking about, they packed up about an hour early. Just it just didn't have a fun vibe to it. There was nothing special about it.
So basically, if you ever hear of a Phoenix Comic Con fan fest, stay the hell away from it.
Save your money. Save your money. Don't even unless you get some free passes. Then yeah, go ahead, go check it out for a couple hours. But I
Why
wouldn't
the
promote
name
it.
Fan Fest? It was just I don't
It
understand. Just they just came up with the name,
yeah,
or there
yeah.
was it supposed to be only?
It's for the fans, Rob. It's festive.
Aren't all Comic Cons for the fans though? Like, who would they? I
I don't
guess
know. I
I
don't know
guess
what
it's
they were
just
doing for the
branding, right?
fans. And a lot of the people there, and not to put them down, is people I've never seen at the actual big Phoenix Comic Con. So I wonder if these are people trying to get into the big con and they can't. Which I recommend them going to smaller cons or more character
Well,
driven cons like
this would be
Amazing
one,
Cons.
right? What con would you recommend?
The Amazing Cons, Amazing Arizona Comic Con, Amazing Vegas. Uh, they have one in Hawaii, but the cons that are called Amazing, they run really well. They bring top notch people. They bring Capullo, Liefeld, Eastman, Steve McNiven was at the last one. Andy Kubert or Adam Kubert was there. I mean, they bring big names that for the fans. But something like this, there was nobody there that would bring in a fan. Like if they would have had Jim Lee there, sold out.
Right.
Everyone would want to see him, or even the guys from The Flash. You know how many people would want to come see them? But I don't know with a name like FanFest, what fans are you trying to bring in? It was it was very mom crafty Pinterest, and then
Well, there's
vendors.
something to be said. Like, there's only so much one market can tolerate. Like Phoenix Comic Con's pretty big. Plus, you got the Tucson Con. Don't they already do two cons? The Phoenix people? Don't they do Phoenix Con twice
No,
already?
just once.
I thought they
They
did
do.
another.
No, the other one's the amazing one. That's the one
Oh,
we
okay.
will be sharing the table
So
with.
there's an Amazing Con. There's the Phoenix Con. There's a Tucson Con. There's a Mesa Con. And people go, there's no what? They're all separate cities. They're all pretty close. Like
They're close enough where the artists that are driving to one con are driving to the other con.
they're close enough for me to leave San Diego, go down there and hit them all. Like they're not
Right.
that far away from one another. So within an hour or two of each con is another con. You know, so that's like it would be like a con in San Diego plus a con in Carlsbad plus a con in Orange County plus a con in Irvine, all within a 4 month or 5 month, 6 month period.
Right.
With half the population. So out of that population, how many of those people will actually go to conventions? Chances are they already went to one of the bigger ones. I don't know. The Phoenix Comic Con people are weird for me. Um, I've been going to Phoenix Comic Con since 2010. I initially loved it.
By the people, you mean the people running it,
The people who run it, not the fans.
not
Fans
the
are awesome.
fans.
No, fans are always fans are fans. Some of them are fucking crazy, but so I've had a few. Um, but the people running Phoenix Con are just weird. You know, my experience with them. I mean, this is like last year. They were successfully sued for nixing our Wi-Fi. You
Right.
know, so like they're not. Remember that, was it this year or last year where they tried to do a sleepover jammy party?
Oh Jesus,
That
yeah.
was like this
It
weird.
was this. I think it was this year. No,
It
it
was,
might
it
have been
was
last year because you no, you were with me this year, but it might have been a year ago. They had a naughty, nice. It was based off some anime, but it was like a bunch of younger people running around in some lingerie, and it was weird.
creepy.
It was
Creepy is
creepy.
the word, dude. It's creepy. It's creepy. It didn't stay. So, and I've had, when we complain, I remember I I blasted that con, I think, that year, and I was like, this is ridiculous. You're charging too much, and I know I'm getting ripped off. And then I'd have people who volunteered at the con going, you're wrong, Rob. The con means well. I'm like, no, you mean well. The people running the con
People
don't give
don't
a
give a
shit.
shit.
Yeah, they don't. They don't care. They're there to make a. They're there. They bought convention space. They're paying for the convention space, and they're putting money in, their own pockets and the pockets of people they paid to be there. And they're
Right.
gonna get that money, however, and it's coming out of artists. It's coming out of Artist Alley. It's coming out of vendors, whomever they can get that money from. It's coming from. I feel sad because the cons. Like when I was a kid, it was like if you could go to Comic Con, you sort of broke in a way. And now it's like people are like, well, I pay to be a Comic Con, that makes me an artist. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, you draw, you're an artist, but you're not professional. Like, come on, folks, you know what I mean? Like, and that's okay to be a fan artist. I do fan art. I support fan art. But some of the artist egos that come out of, I'm going to con, Rob. You know what I mean? You're not going. You're crazy. You suck. And the
You're not relevant, Rob.
I've been told I'm not relevant. That's actually
I think if a fan really wants to know what how the con really goes down, just ask an artist. Ask an artist how they feel about the people promoting the con and the people setting it up. Not to jump back on their bandwagon, but the amazing cons, we we got our table for it for Vegas while I left our table at Phoenix Con. The the guy running Amazing called me up or texted me and said, "Hey, I got one table left. You're always good to us. You want the table?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we had to get a hotel room. I didn't have the money to pay the high rates, and he goes, "You know what? I'll get you a discount." He talked to the manager of the hotel and got me a discount. He didn't have to do that. I'm not Capullo. I'm not anybody big, but it's things like that that artists like, and that makes it fun to be at a con, and you see it. When I was at Phoenix Con, I was miserable. When I'm at Amazing Con, when we were in Vegas, it was great, having a good time, chatting with people, slinging prints, doing art. it's nice when a con is run for the artists and the creative people. It just shows. It just has a good vibe to it, and it doesn't
Yeah,
feel
the Amazing Con
manufactured.
was really nice. We did that in Vegas. I liked it. I will say this: every con has its problem.
Yeah.
Every con has its problem, and I believe Artist Alley should either be free or at a serious discount. That's it. Free to pros, I get it. You want pros there.
Mm-hmm.
At a discount, discounted, limited availability, discounted for artists paying to be there. Okay, I get it. A couple $100 tops. All right, for a table. That's how I feel. That being said, because it's limited, there should be strict rules in terms of height displays on your, like see this back here, right? That's tasteful. All right, this wall of prints and two tables out that extend, and there's a million. I'm gonna put every print I have, so it turns into this giant swap meet. It almost looks like an ad, like the Sunday newspaper, all the ads everywhere. It
Mm-hmm.
turns into a nightmare visually. Um, I'm for selling prints. I'm for selling art. I just think in Arts Alley it has to be reined in. They should have to come over, look at your thing. You can have one, you know, set thing behind you, two set things, fine. But that there should be, some sort of, and this occurs at conventions I've been to that aren't in comics, like Magic, which is a big clothing con, although every year it's gotten smaller and smaller. But there used to be really stringent rules. Just because you're a vendor doesn't mean you get unlimited carte blanche to do whatever you want. You get a there should be height rules. There should be someone going over there saying, "No, that's not up, dude. Either take it down or you're out, and you don't get a refund." You know,
Yeah,
quite
I
simple.
agree.
It's quite simple because what you end up having is a situation like we had at the Amazing Con, where the girl next to us built this giant cabin out of like arts and crafts. That
It
it
was
was
like a,
crazy.
she was
So
like, it
it
was like a coffin.
hold on. She built this giant thing around this giant coffin like wooden box. And not only did it block kind of where you were sitting so people couldn't see you, it blocked from anyone seeing her own shit.
Yeah,
Like,
she was hidden in there.
yeah, she suffered from that. And if there were rules in Artist Alley, like you can't actually, and by the way, there used to be. Like when I started doing Wizard World cons and smaller cons in the early 2000s, there were rules. You could only have 6 foot displays behind you. You could only do this. You could only do that. There were rules. Those rules have gone away, and they have to come back. I feel to get a reign, on that area of the con. Um,
Without rules, there is anarchy.
so all right, Brandon. So that's
Wait,
about it.
wait,
Mhm.
hold on. So real quick, just because we got answer, I want you to answer a question off the chat.
Sure.
Firebird Newt asks, uh, when do you think you'll start up the Deathstroke, the one you started the silhouette of?
I'll be doing all the night saucies next week.
Next week.
Next week.
And don't hold him to that because he's super busy. So
No, no, no. It's all on my schedule. Right now I got to get the Splinter and the Casey done. Um, this week. Those are complicated because they're fully digitally painted and drawn and everything.
right.
I just got in all the prints. I already did an update on the power prints. I got in all the prints except the metallics. They'll arrive on Friday. So it took me a day. I think people like they need to understand um, the one thing I don't do a lot of because it would take a lot more time is I don't really document the process of sorting all the print information and then ordering all that, making sure it's right, bringing it back, and setting it up to be um, collated into individual orders. That right there would take an average person probably 2 months. You know, it's only taken me 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. So, um, but when I'm working on it, I can't draw. So this is the first time on a Kickstarter I've done it all myself from the beginning. Before I used to have Josh. Um, now I don't. So uh, balancing the workload right now. So I set up all the night saucies so people could see what I'm making so they can make their choices. And then I set up a bunch of the color roughies for the other stretch goal prints so people could see what direction I'm going with those. And then now I got to finish the Splinter, the Casey, and then I'll do the Night Saucy. So I've been practicing a lot, as you folks can see, with like watercolor swatches and the other saucy stuff Uh, Case in point, just constantly practicing here. So when I get to that, the painting is not a big deal, and it isn't. I actually was afraid of how I was going to paint the Deathstroke um, when I first drew that because I was like, I haven't done sauces in a while, so I had to go and paint the Garrus and Legion Mass Effects, and they came out good. So I feel pretty confident. So I'll start the Deathstroke this Night Saucies next week. I don't know what day. I'm not gonna say it'll be Monday. It could be Wednesday, but I'll start them next week. So, and
Yeah.
I will do all of that live too on the channel, so you can all join in and say hi and say what's up. And you can join this channel. I'm gonna do the streams through here now instead of Google Hangouts, so you can just go to Sketchcraft Live, sketchcraftlive.com. Takes you right here to the streaming page, and you can check it out. Like I said, I'll be doing the Deathstroke next week. So,
All right.
anything else?
Yes. What to expect from Sketchcraft Live moving forward?
Oh, if they really asked that, or is that some shit you came up with?
Of course, the fan asked that, not
No one
me.
asked that. Brandon the fan. Mega Potatoes 6400 asks what to expect from no to
That's a good
expect.
question. That's a valid question. That's a, it's a it was a good question when I typed it.
Expect more of everything.
Fuck yeah, people! Expect more, more
Expect more of
sketch
everything.
craftiness
I started
live.
the podcast back up because the internet.
Hates everything.
I don't know about hate. I mean, the shit I hate, man. I can't stand that Ninja Turtles movie. I just needed time away. Needed time away to figure it out. Plus, it's a good way to bring up things like this con and everything else. I'm gonna divvy it up.
Did I
This
help? Did I help talk you back into doing the podcast?
No one helped. No, I'll
I
tell
think
you what happened. It was a combination of this trailer and Psychonauts 2 dropping and the whole world going to fucking crazy shit. Like I'm being told this is a horrible movie and Activision's great and Double Fine sucks. And I was like, I can't live in that world. Like I can't process
so.
that. Like I
Everyone
felt
think
this past week the internet I felt like I was Bruce Wayne looking at the world devastator. Like I'm just like it's just they're destroying everything. You know? And I have to at least rage against it in some way. Um, but the streams it's going to work like this. So we'll do the streams 2 or 3 times a week. We'll cover art related conversations like Comic Con, or I have a whole thing I'm putting together right now, formulating about stuff when I talk about art, I talk about the mental side of being an artist and things you're going
mhm.
to encounter. Um, so there's that. Could be tips. Sometimes people want to know specific tips. And then the movies and the gaming side. So that's why I labeled it art, games, and comic book stuff. So we'll be able
And
to talk
gaming
about.
gaming will be on Fridays, correct?
I'm not going to say what day. It'll be when I have Wesley on. So
Ah,
so when
okay.
Wesley's on, we talk about games. When you're on, we talk about art and comic books. So that's about how it goes.
Also, I just want to throw us in there just because people sometimes don't catch everything when we post online. You will be at Amazing Comic Con Arizona in February on Valentine's Day,
I
correct?
will. Is that in
Because
February?
I got us a table, so you should be there, and people should know
You need to
that.
remind me in January that I'm doing that, because I'll forget.
All right.
I'll forget. I gotta
I
write that
will.
down. I'm gonna.
Also, whoever listens to this or watches it will be able to remind you, like, hey, Rob, you're coming to Arizona, right? Bug the
I'm
shit out of
crashing
them.
at your place, right? That's not gonna cost me money.
No, you're on my couch.
All right. Because I'm not up for paying for hotels right now. So okay, so hey, I'll be at the Amazing Con in February. So that also too. What also you know I stopped the podcast in January after my father died, and then I was like I need a break because I'm all I'm to do is I don't want to talk right now. And then we go to these cons, and I went to 2 cons, Phoenix Cons and Amaze Con. And the thing that kept coming across was, I missed the podcast, Rob. I hadn't seen so many. Look, you were there. I'm not. This
Oh
isn't
yeah,
like 3 people.
they're like, I missed the podcast and that other guy, and I'm like,
The other dude I make.
I'm the other guy, and they're like, oh yeah, I miss hearing you get your ass chewed out all the time. I'm like,
And
I
if you
miss.
miss that, just stick around because everything's really honky dory. Everything's fine between Brennan and I now, but after about 50,
It's gonna hit the fucking fan.
after several of these, I won't be so nice. Like I'll be like, "Fucking really, Brandon? You know, really, dude? You know." So
that a wrap, Rob?
That's a wrap. Brandon, where can we find you on the internet?
Add me on Twitter and Instagram at Lead Heavy.
And as for myself, you can please subscribe to the channel, YouTube, or say hi at Sketchcraft on Facebook, or Twitter, sorry. And then the Sketchcraft.com will take you right to the Facebook. So as always, Sketchcraft is recorded in front of a live internet audience and fully supported by viewers like yourself. Please leave your comments and feedback below, and I will see you on the next Sketchcraft Live. Talk later. Bye.